Hello everyone, and welcome to the Filecoin and IPFS Monthly Ecosystem Roundup. Thank you for taking the time to join us today as we take a look at the latest and greatest developments from across the Filecoin and IPFS ecosystems. We're excited to have you all here and look forward to a productive and engaging session. My name is Angie Maguire, and I'll be your host for today's Roundup. The last month has been super busy for the community. Storage providers got together in Las Vegas for ESPA. The Filecoin Foundation hosted Phil Austin and Phil Hong Kong, welcoming builders from across the world to collaborate and build together. The Filecoin Green Team hosted the 4th Sustainable Blockchain Summit, supported by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and a bunch of researchers got together for Crypto Yukon Day in Austin. A quick reminder that Filecoin's mission is to create a decentralized, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information. Launched in March, the Filecoin virtual machine now enables you to build your own smart contracts on the Filecoin blockchain. FBM brings user programmability to Filecoin, unleashing the enormous potential of an open data economy. IPFS is a peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol designed to preserve and grow humanity's knowledge by making the web upgradable, resilient, and more open. Together, they are the foundation of Web3 and the building blocks of many of your favourite projects and protocols. Before we dive into discussions, let's quickly go over the agenda for today's call. We'll kick off things with an update from our awesome ecosystem lead, Colin Everin. Following this, some of our community members will give us a quick-fire overview of the amazing projects and tools they've been working on. Next, we'll be exploring the App of the Month Huddle 01 with a fireside between Lucas Bresser and co-founder and CTO Susmit Lavania. Then it's time for an exciting new addition to the Roundup that puts your favourite people and projects in the spotlight. To close us out, we'll take a look at what's coming up in May and early June. Don't be shy, you can participate in today's Roundup by leaving comments and questions in the chat for our presenters, tweeting with the hashtag Filecoin Roundup, or if you'd like to present at a future Roundup, then we'll share some details at the end. I'm delighted to kick things off by welcoming ecosystem lead Colin Everin to give us an overview of what's been happening across Web3, IPFS, and Filecoin ecosystems. Over to you, Colin.
Thank you, Angie. I'm delighted to provide a quick update into the state of the Filecoin IPFS and Web3 ecosystems, and I will start with Filecoin. As many of you know, Filecoin is a crypto-powered storage network whose mission is to create a decentralized, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information. Over the last couple of years, Filecoin has become the storage network of Web3, now having 99% total decentralized storage capacity on the within the Web3 space, and 97% of total storage utilization. And with the launch of FBM, Filecoin has become the L1 blockchain and storage network uniquely poised to power the open data economy. Now, the community's ambition is to bring web-scale applications, think of the order of magnitude of Twitter or YouTube, to be deployable on Web3 infrastructure. And we've been following a 3-step Filecoin master plan to get there. Step 1 is to build out scalable data storage by attracting internet-scale hardware. Now, this requires really designing the Filecoin base layer to support storage capacity orders of magnitude larger than what the web consumes even today. And the great news is that Filecoin has proven it can store exabytes of data verifiably. Part 2 is ramping the onboarding of data onto the network. And this is important for 3 reasons. First, it ensures that we bring value to the vast amounts of hardware on the network by increasing the network utilization. 2, it brings massive amounts of data onto the network, and that provides future revenue streams from the retrieval and compute and additional services that data owners may procure from the network. And third, onboarding data also creates investment in the tooling and infrastructure required to operate internet scale services. It's almost like investing in the highways to enable cars to drive across. Finally, part 3 is about ramping utility. Filecoin's retrieval markets unlock a whole new classes of use cases that the network can natively support with high performance retrieval. Compute over data protocols provide valuable services along with new data sets that the network can store, and programmability allows for composability within these services, flexibility for payment, and interoperability with other networks. So I'll dive into each of these and just highlight some of the progress. First, on scalable data storage. Filecoin was really designed to support internet scale capacity. Today, about 3,600 storage provider systems are live, collectively supporting exabytes of storage capacity across 40 different countries. Now, this is an important fact worth pausing for. Filecoin today is proving that it is possible to support internet scale capacity through the blockchain. It's not a theoretical statement. Filecoin is proving it can support exabytes of storage every day. And while individually none of these storage providers on Filecoin could compete with the scale of the centralized cloud, collectively as a network, they can aggregate into a service that can meaningfully compete. A few important facts on this. Today, we're seeing a much higher percentage of storage providers taking actual deals. About 34% of all storage provider systems are taking verified deals in April versus about 25% in January. Two, we're seeing a number of initiatives to decrease the cost of operating a storage provider, like sealing as a service and decreasing the cost of proofs. Three, we see many more on-ramps to source pledge collateral with the launch of DeFi protocols on FVM. And four, of course, many, many more clients coming to the table and storing their data. Great. We'll check in on part two, which is around storing massive data onboarding onto Filecoin. In the past 18 months, we've successfully added almost 1 million terabytes of data onto Filecoin. And total data on board has increased by 35 times since January 2022, which is super impressive considering crypto's been in a bear market since then. A few things to note here. We're seeing over 1,550 clients onboarded to the network and record onboarding rates of up to 5,500 terabytes per day. Super impressive stats. Now, these clients are split in between Web3 native teams. Think like Club NFT or Gala Games. These were mainly users of IPFS leveraging Filecoin as a resilient archive. And to date, we've seen hundreds of teams building in Web3 who have used IPFS and Filecoin through on-ramps like NFT.storage, Web3.storage, Estuary, and much, much more. Now, we're also seeing more traditional Web2 style organizations leveraging the competitive pricing of the Filecoin network. Think folks like CERN, Berkeley's Particle Physics Lab, and the Internet Archive. So a lot of progress on the client onboarding front. And the major issue I'll point out that will enable us for the next phase of growth is compared to the centralized cloud, the Filecoin ecosystem is much more nascent with investments in tooling that need to be made to get more data onboarded. So I'm delighted to say there's a large community of builders that are investing in the infrastructure to acquire new data sets and scale the on-ramps onto the network. Some examples here include Filecoin Web Services, Web3.storage, Estuary, FilSwan, Tombola, and much, much more. These are all offerings that are building on top of Filecoin to bring more storage on-ramps to market. Great. So that brings us to part three. With storage markets as the foundation of the master plan, we now pivot to making data useful through retrieval markets, compute over data, the Filecoin virtual machine, and scalable consensus mechanisms. We actually just launched Filecoin virtual machine a month ago, which allows any developer to write smart contracts around shared state and ultimately bring a ton of new use cases to the network. Now, since launch, developer use cases of FVM have skyrocketed. In April, there was about 70,000 monthly active FVM wallets added to the network. Today, there are over 700,000 held in FVM-powered smart contracts and total TBL of about 8 million per DeFi Llama. Since launch, we've also noticed 800 unique smart contracts deployed by hundreds of teams building dApps and more in the ecosystem. And we have over 30 major Web3 partners supporting FVM with their solutions, including XLR, Kraken, Teller, Seller, and much, much more. On to retrieval and some of the other kind of like things that are making Filecoin network really useful. I won't have time to go into these in detail, but you can check out some of the retrieval market working group participants like Saturn at retrieval.market, some of the compute over data working group participants like Bacalhau and COD.cloud. And I'll note that they're having a summit with a whole bunch of these players on May 9th and 10th in Boston, if you happen to be available and willing to commute there. And for scaling Filecoin, Interplanetary Consensus launched their white paper and alpha. You can check that out at fil.space. This is a mechanism that can scale the consensus layer of Filecoin dramatically, including some other blockchains as well that choose to use it. So that's a quick synopsis of the state of Filecoin. I'll also touch on IPFS briefly. IPFS makes the web work peer-to-peer using content addressing with content identifiers or hashes. It has really become the data and content platform of Web3. And a few stats that I'll highlight as we enter May 2023. I'm delighted to show that content routing performance continues to improve. It's now less than 0.5 seconds, and that continues to improve month over month. The IPFS network serves an ever-growing user base. There are over 200,000 known IPFS nodes that are serving up 1.2 billion weekly gateway requests, which is absolutely super impressive. IPFS is now available in many environments and languages, and we continue to grow the number of core developers interested in contributing to the core IPFS protocol. We now have 7 major IPFS implementations and 2 major browsers supporting CIDs natively. Many of these core contributors got together at IPFS thing last month, and I just want to say huge congratulations to the entire IPFS community for getting this network to such an incredible state, and looking forward to reporting out these metrics again in a month. Great, so we want to do a quick segment here in this section that highlights Filecoin IPFS within the context of Web3 in the news today. I want to highlight one podcast that I found particularly insightful with Kyle Samani of Multicoin. I'll play a quick clip and then I'll talk about it.
I'd hated Filecoin for a really long time. And I've done a 180 in the last 6 months.
This brought a smile to my face. Kyle in the podcast goes on to state kind of his thesis for the Filecoin network, which revolves around 3 tenets. One is the rapid increase in the rate of intellectual capital contributing to the Filecoin network. 2 is around the FBM and how when that went live, it really enables pre-programmed payments that connect to the Filecoin native bindings, storage, retrieval, and compute. And 3, super bullish on the retrieval markets that went live, bringing the vision of decentralized CDNs closer to reality. So please check out that podcast. You can see a link below in YouTube, or you can use that QR code. Next, I wanted to highlight Electric Capital, which released a report of the most active developer communities within Web3. Filecoin was number 16 on the list, which was a super proud starting point. And we really believe that with FBM smart contracts, we're going to really increase the number of developers that contribute to the ecosystem and build on top of Filecoin over the next year. Next, I'll highlight Masari. They released their Q1 State of Filecoin report, which is super rich with lots of metrics and charts and insights about the different nooks and crannies of Filecoin adoption. Please check out this report. It's super, super rich in information. You can check out the link below in YouTube or the QR code to access that on Twitter. And finally, I'll play a quick clip from Jade Rapper at Blue Sky.
Hi, I'm Jay. I run Blue Sky, and we are a company building a decentralized social protocol that uses IPLD.
I would say Blue Sky is one of the most highly anticipated decentralized social apps built on Web3 tech. One of our core developers, I think the first employee at Protocol Labs, Why Are You Sleeping, who built the original IPFS and Lotus implementations for IPFS and Filecoin, has been contributing to this project actively, and of course using IPLD under the hood. We're super excited to track the progress of Blue Sky. If you have an invite code, please give it a try. Otherwise, join the wait list because it's really a game changer for decentralized social apps built on Web3 tech. Great. And with that, I will pass it off to Deep, who's going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges within the Phil Plus program over the last month, but also some of the solutions the community is rallying to implement relatively quickly. So Deep, I'll pass it on to you on Phil Plus.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I just want to talk a little bit about the Filecoin Plus program. As you may know, the vision of the program is to scale the utilization of the Filecoin network to store humanities information. So really all of humanities information. And the way we do this is by incentivizing data onboarding across use cases using community-governed trust mechanisms that allow us to allocate this resource called data cap to people that are interested in onboarding data to the Filecoin network. This resource then in turn increases the likelihood for storage providers to win block rewards from the network, thereby creating an incentive in the protocol for people to actually do things that add value and help Filecoin achieve its mission to being the data store for all of humanity. The program is currently entering its quality phase, coming out of the last year where we focused on scaling and achieved tremendous growth, as you saw from some of the previous content that was shared. But as part of this, we also looked at a lot of the feedback that was being received and a lot of the cases that were being stretched in terms of how data cap was being used. And some things really stood out to us, and these are listed here. Number one, we really want to tackle abuse in the system. Abuse here is defined as people using data cap in a way that they didn't commit to or claim to, or falsification of information that's being shared, so that we can ensure that the subsidy is really going towards high value place in the ecosystem and really supporting projects that accrue long-term value to supporting the mission of Filecoin. Number two, holding individuals within the ecosystem, specifically notaries, but also others, accountable for the actions that they take. This includes increasing the transparency around what they're doing, but then also giving them tools and resources to be successful, and then creating tools and resources for the community to track their success over time. Number three, ensuring that disputes raised in the community have faster resolution and have actual consequences that people can follow on. Number four, in general, increasing the rate of change and evolution for the program. And number five, ensuring that the design of the system itself scales to improve and support all use cases. So with that, the quality phase is specifically targeted to addressing each of these points, ensuring that we increase the utility, usefulness of the program overall, the efficacy of Filecoin Plus in achieving its vision and supporting Filecoin in becoming the data store for all of humanity. The three specific goals that we're going after are ensuring that 100% of all valid types of clients have a path to getting data cap. We have a definition for valid, and I'd encourage you to take a look at the QR code at the bottom to see more details on how we're scoping the program and what the goals look like. We've got a goal on quality itself, ensuring that 95% of net new data cap is allocated to these quality data and use cases. And then one on visibility and transparency, where we want public visibility into all key initiatives and goals. We currently have a completely public roadmap that's visible at filplus.storage and linked further onto there to more detailed items. Each of those has information on who's working on what the current priorities look like. And you can always reach out to us or participate in our open governance calls that happen every other Tuesday. The next one being next Tuesday. If you're watching this live and want to tune in, we look forward to seeing you there. Check out the QR code for some more resources. Looking forward to seeing you in Slack, GitHub, or a future Zoom call. Thanks for the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Colin and Deep. It is phenomenal to see such progress over the last month. Okay, in our next segment, we're going to dive right in and hear from some of the people, projects, and organizations who are driving this momentum. It's time for Wins of the Month.
Last month in Hong Kong at the Filecoin Network Base, we hosted the first ever Filecoin DeFi showcase. This was an amazing opportunity for all the different teams and protocols that are building DeFi solutions on top of the Filecoin virtual machine that are all aimed at connecting Filecoin token holders with storage providers to come together and present their solutions in front of an audience for the first time. It was a totally packed event. As you can see in that picture there, it was standing room only. It was a really exciting time for these teams to not only share a little bit more about these solutions that they were building, but also connect with token holders and storage providers alike in a one-on-one setting after the event to learn a little bit more about what storage providers are looking for and also what token holders are looking for in a solution. So it was an incredible opportunity. We were really excited to host it in Hong Kong and can't wait for the next one. If you want to stay up to date on what all of the DeFi protocols are building, especially the leasing and staking protocols, check out the links in the description on the Filecoin TLDR page where you can stay up to date on their latest progress. Thanks.
Hey everyone, we're super excited to announce the launch of Filecoin Web Services, open source technology. So what we did was Alvin, Shrek, Wings, Jason, and many other people on the team launched a whole bunch of open source software to help onboard a whole bunch of clients to the Filecoin network. And within a week, we've done over 32,000 Filecoin storage deals and 50 terabytes of useful data. When we look at our technology, we are seeing a potential of being able to onboard over 4 petabytes a week once we scale up all the instances. So we're excited to support Radiant Earth, Sucho, Filebase, Neuromorpho, InCloud, and a whole bunch of other users that we already supported through Estuary. And if you have any clients, please let us know and we'll onboard their data. Big shout out to Alvin again, Shrek, Wings, Jason for leading the effort. Wings put a huge amount of effort into the infrastructure and it's bearing fruit. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Hello, friends and fielders. I'm Ali, and over the past couple of months, myself and a core team from Bacalhau have been working hard on this AI art attribution project, and we're excited to have now formally launched waterlily.ai to FVM. Waterlily.ai is a first of its kind user-facing app that's aiming to provide a more equitable new paradigm for generative AI art platforms. So it provides attribution and royalties to original artwork creators on every use of the platform. The main concept behind Waterlily was to give control back to creators and add this potential new revenue stream for them to opt into and explore, while still giving a user an easy way to create these awesome generative AI art and even mint NFTs. So as a user, you can navigate to waterlily.ai, simply enter a text prompt of an image you'd like to generate, and then you browse through a selection of both private artists and public domain artists and choose a style you'd like to generate your image in. So for example, my go-to is usually rainbow unicorn in space, and let's say we choose in the style of Claude Monet. You then pay a small fee to the platform via your wallet, and 4 images are generated for you to download or even mint as an NFT. So I'd love to invite you all to formally try it out and get in touch with us for any questions, comments, or contributions.
Hi, I'm James from the founders team. Set against the publication of a forward-leaning white paper from the Japanese government aiming to embrace Web3 as part of their future growth, over 1,000 hackers descended on Tokyo just after the cherry blossom season in mid-April for ETH Global's first foray into East Asia. The day before the ETH Global Hackathon, ETH Global also hosted their inaugural Pragma Summit, a one-day in-person summit with builders and leaders from the Ethereum ecosystem. At Pragma, our very own Juan Panay spoke about IPFS, Filecoin, FVM, and building Web3 startups, as did Massa from one of our amazing teams, Secured Finance, who previously went through hackathon and accelerator programs, so a great example of a team who've taken a project all the way through our builders funnel to become a venture-backable startup. ETH Global was electric with energy, and it was also the first hack where we hosted only an FVM-focused track, and we had strict qualification criteria for projects that were actually using the Filecoin virtual machine. While this resulted in a comparatively lower number of overall submissions, the average quality of projects was much higher, with some teams absolutely blowing the judges away. We were super impressed with how teams were innovating on FVM. We saw everything from programmable storage markets to data DAOs to infrastructure tooling and more. A big shout out to IDQ Soul Wallet, Heaven Data, Megaxis, ChatGPT, and Animate, our amazing winners. And as ever, a huge thanks to Sandy, Ainhoa, Robert, Sneha, Guru, DX, Sarah, Ruben, our partners at ETH Global and others on the ground, as well as Nikki, Carlin, Dawn, and others steering the ship virtually. Overall, a really fantastic showing from the IPFS and Filecoin community in Tokyo. Thank you.
I guess this is me. So yeah, we held the second FILMVP demo day online, and it was a huge success. We had more than 800 selected investors representing trillions in US dollars under asset under management present for FILMVP. 25 teams presented their startups in 3-minute rapid-fire pitches back to back. This resulted in hundreds of introductions, which in turn resulted in a battery of commitments for the startups presenting. We are excited to announce some of these funding rounds officially in the upcoming month. If you know any amazing startups in our vast ecosystem that you feel are ready to take, the big stage of FILMVP in front of hundreds and thousands of investors, please let us know at filmvp@protocol.ai. I want to briefly pause and thank the amazing people that have made all of this possible. I want to thank Yaya, James, Brad, Lacey, Colin, Juan, Paige, James L, Anastasia, AG, and many others who made this an unforgettable event. Thank you, guys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Fluin. I'm head of developer relations over at Axelar. And last month, we launched and connected Axelar network to the FEVM and the FVM, which now enables people to both bridge assets as well as access our general message passing, which we think is really amazing because now you can control things and connect dApps across multiple blockchains with FIVM. And so you can do really interesting things, like imagine if you controlled the access rights to some storage asset based on an NFT that exists on another chain. And that's just one of many, many other examples of the kind of power of connecting the FIVM and the FVM to all the other blockchains. So yeah, you can check it out. You can see it both on our kind of asset bridging tool, satellite.money, as well as we've got a fantastic team building a cross-chain swaps and where you basically just specify a destination asset and token, source asset, chain token, all those sorts of things for cross-chain bridging and swapping at app.squidradar.com. And we're really excited to be working with you guys.
Hey there, it's Mara from the network growth team. And this past April, we had a terrific ESPA event. We had 22 new participants, including the first ever from Israel, Sweden, South Africa, and France. We also had 7 prior participants deliver their demo day presentations. We actually had so many people apply for that we had to turn some others away who wanted to present. We were thrilled to have Colin at the event, and he did a great presentation, and it was super insightful for everyone. We're now accepting applications for cohort 7, which is July 18 to 20 in Las Vegas, and we want to see you there. So please apply at Web3 ESPA, Web3 ESPA.io. Many thanks, and we're really looking forward to building a profitable service provider business together.
Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan Schwartz. I'm a founder of Glyph, and in case you haven't heard of Glyph, we've been around since the pre-mainnet days in late 2018, and we've just been building critical apps and tools for the Filecoin network since then. We've built the most popular wallet in multi-sig, and we run Filecoin nodes that handle like millions of requests every day. About 18 months ago at this point, we started our research on Filecoin capital markets and DeFi. And it's really exciting that the fruits of our labor are now coming to life. And so the Infinity pool, which is our Filecoin staking pool, is now open for early deposits. And we just crossed 500,000 Filecoin, and now we're almost at 600,000 now, which is just so it makes me very happy and excited. But we still have a lot of work to do, and a lot more wins to come in the future. But if you're looking for a productive way to put your fill to work, check out glyph.io, and thanks for the time.
Amazing. Thank you to all of the incredible teams behind these projects and communities for sharing their May wins. If you'd like to be featured next month, then we'll be sharing more info at the end, or you can find a link in the description below. Okay, it's now time for App of the Month, brought to you by Lucas Bresser. Over to you, Lucas.
Thanks so much, Angie. And I'm super excited to talk about the App of the Month, which is Huddle01. They're building infrastructure in the Filecoin and IPFS ecosystem to enable cross-chain audio and video communication. And we have 2 fantastic people from their team join us today. Misan, one of the developers on the Huddle01 team, will present the product and run us through a quick demo. And then we'll have a brief chat with Susmit, their co-founder and CTO. Over to you, Mizan.
So my name is Mizan, and I'm a mobile engineer at Huddle01. And today I'm here with our co-founder, Mr. Sushmit Lavanya. All right, so Huddle01 basically does Web3 video meetings and more. So what we are doing is we are building a unified solution to facilitate high quality audio video communication throughout the Web3 ecosystem. So there are multiple ways you can be part of our audio video layers. The first one is obviously you could sign in with your wallet and enjoy Web3 video meetings on our platform. That is our main offering. It is a video meeting platform where you can use your wallet to join meetings. And also we have multiple Web3 native features that I'm going to be talking about in a while. Besides that, you can also use our developer-friendly SDKs, which is the infrastructure we provide to enable audio video capabilities in your own applications. So this is mostly for the builders in the Web3 ecosystem, and it allows you to plug and play all of our infrastructure into your app very conveniently. So this is what our meeting app looks like. We have a web platform, and we also have a mobile app, which is available on the Google Play Store as well as the iOS App Store. Inside of the app, you can sign in with your preferred wallet. We have multiple wallet options like MetaMask, Wallet Connect, Phantom Wallet, and many more. And you can also obviously continue as a guest if you don't have a wallet ready at your disposal. So this is what the app looks like, a brief overview. And after that, so what are the Web3 native features that we offer, right? So we have multiple features. The first one is NFT avatars. So inside of meeting rooms, you can flaunt all of your NFT avatars. We support multiple chains, EVM, Solana, and you can use these NFTs to basically use as your avatars inside of the meeting calls. And we also have decentralized identities where we fetch all of your decentralized identities like ENS names and also Lens protocol and Solana identities, which you can use inside of the meetings and stay completely anonymous while having all of your calls. We also allow storing, recording and storing meeting recordings on none other than our favorite IPFS network, which is supported by Filecoin. So every meeting that you record is stored completely on IPFS. We don't store any of your data, and it's obviously available for you to watch after the call has ended. We also have a brand new feature which is coming out very soon, which is the NFT VR filters. So the NFT avatars, which I mentioned earlier, were static images, but now we support VR NFTs where your avatar is live animated using your NFT that you select. So that is a pretty cool feature and one of the major things we are going to be shipping very soon. And after that, we also have multiple live streaming options. So you can live stream your calls using LivePeer, which is another Web3 native audio video solution. Besides that, you can also stream all of your calls on YouTube as well as Twitch. So these are some of the Web3 features that we enable on our platform. After that, one of the most important and integral features of our platform is scheduling your meetings using the Google Workspace add-on. So you can schedule events on Google Calendars and also use the Huddle 01 official add-on to schedule meetings on Huddle 01 platform. So once you create an event on the Google Calendar, it automatically creates a meeting room for you and schedules the meeting for the particular time that you choose. So this is one of our most used features and something you can really try out. After that, I don't want to bore you all with a lot of numbers, but these are some of the overview of the numbers that we flaunt. So starting from January of 2022, so a period of a little over than 1 year, we have had total meetings of more than 45,000. We have a user count of more than 23,000. We also have, out of which 7,000 plus are wallet users, and also 3.5K decentralized identity users that use their identities to stay anonymous on our platform. And these are our monthly numbers that we have. These are the time spent on our platform in meetings. So Q3 of 2022 was our biggest quarter that we've seen, where we had 150,000 minutes of meetings on our platform. So that is some of the numbers. After that, these are some of the major companies and some of our friends that have been using Huddle 01 on an almost regular basis. Some of the bigger names over here are obviously LivePeer, Messari, Shardium, and of course, Filecoin, and also ENS and MetaPass. So we also have cal.com where users can integrate Huddle 01 on their personal calendars, where people can, schedule Huddle 01 meetings using their cal.com integration. So that is something which is pretty cool. After that, the second aspect that I mentioned earlier, the developer SDKs that we offer. So not just the platform, we also offer our SDKs, which allows you to plug and play our audio video infrastructure into your dApps. So we have multiple SDKs. For the web, we have a vanilla JavaScript SDK. We also have a React SDK for all of your React apps. We also have a React Native SDK for integrating audio video capabilities into your mobile apps. So we are constantly updating all of these SDKs and also shipping new features every day. So feel free to check out all of our SDKs. They're available on GitHub, and also you can download them from NPM. And we also have a documentation website which you can always check out. After that, I just want to give a quick demo of the platform. So that's all for the presentation. So if I wanted to start a new meeting, I would just go to app.huddle01.com. and it would create a brand new meeting for me. Over here, I could connect any of my wallets. I have already connected my MetaMask wallet, but if I were to disconnect it and connect it again, this is what it would look like. I have to sign a quick message. And yeah, that's it. After I've connected my wallet, all of my decentralized identities and my NFTs will be fetched for me, and I'll be able to join the meeting. So let's do that real quick. So as you can see, my ENS name was fetched for me over here. That's the only decentralized identity I own. So I can choose that to join the meeting, and I can start the meeting from here. So I'm demoing a video meet platform on another video meet platform, which is funny. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So I'll just quickly mute. And I could share this link, which I get over here. I could copy this meeting link and share it with anyone, and they could join the meeting instantly. And just talking about the NFT avatars, if I switched off my video and chose an NFT avatar from here, so this is the Ethereum NFTs that I own, but I also have a few on the Polygon chain. So I'll just quickly select one of them, and this is what it would look like. So this is my NFT, which I can use to be represented inside of the call. And we also have the record button over here, which if I click on it, I can immediately start recording the meeting. And of course, it is stored on the IPFS network after it's done. So it tells me that my meeting is now being recorded. I can always stop the recording, and it gives me an option if I want to upload it to IPFS or not. I'm going to choose to not upload it right now, but I could do that if I wanted to. And it would give me a link, and I could also email the recording link to myself if I wanted to. So that's one of the pretty cool Web3 features that we have on our platform. And I guess, yeah, that's it. We also have a chat room inside of the call like every other video meeting platform. And yeah, these are the live streaming options. Like I mentioned earlier, the 3 live streaming options that we allow to stream all of our calls live. And yeah, I guess that's it for our video meet platform. So that was a quick demo of that. And I'm going to be passing on to my co-founder, Mr. Sushmit.
And then Susmit, yeah, love to welcome you kind of here for the little fireside chat. What a cool tool you built, and it looks really cool. I want to second one of the things that was said in the chat. It doesn't even seem like you're using Web3, right? Like it feels just super slick, and that's super impressive. I'm kind of curious, like maybe like jumping in on this Web3 topic a little bit. You know, it's often marked by a high degree of composability, and it has NFTs and some of the things that were highlighted. And what are some of the things that Huddle is doing to leverage this? You know, like the unique characteristics of Web3, login via wallet, etc., to win with its product compared to maybe Web2 solutions? What's kind of the unique advantage that you get from being native to Web3?
Yep. So I think there's a lot of advantages that we get when we are native to the Web3 out there. First of all, the modularity actually helps us on the path that we are on the progressive decentralization, right? So we believe that decentralization is not a switch. It is basically a slider that goes from slowly that decentralized out of all things. So provided we always had this aim, right? So Web3 is a very complex technology. Like it takes learning curve for people to just get started just with the wallet itself. But we wanted to do all of those things within a single click. And actually Mizan actually showed like all of the features were actually accessible within 2 or 3 clicks out there. So you can put your NFTs, you can put your DIDs, you can token gate your meetings out there within a single click. You can do live streaming, and within a single click, like you can record those meetings and put it on the IPFS part there, right? But if we see, all of those features are actually made with sub features out there. Like everything is being dedicated, like the DIDs on Polygon, the NFT might be on Ethereum, the Lipeer has their own chain, the Filecam has their own nodes, which we can use as a hot layer IPFS, and the code layer we can use Filecoin out there. Now, particularly if you see the meetings that we record, so even if we are like, suppose we are 52 people right now here, right? And if everyone is sending the data at 480p to the meeting, so you can see just for the 10 minutes of meeting, there's a very high volume of data that is being created, right? So suppose if you want to record and store whole of the world's meeting out there, S3 actually becomes an infeasible option for us, right? And there is where like the Filecoins come into the picture, right? So there is where like we see the perfect synergies, and the way the Web3 and other protocols are designed, right? The more the network effects they have, the much more performant they become right now. But with the Web2 technology, what we have is that the more the network effect they have, the more pricey and the more vendor lock-in system that they have provided with the rent extractive mechanisms that they have right now. So the primary features that we enable that we see in Web3 is the collaboration, right? So people are very happy to collaborate with each other. So if we see like Huddle serves as a primary example of collaboration between all the protocols out there, and it has came out to be a perfect protocol out there. So that is one thing on the product and feature on the business side. And on the technological side also, like we are building our own protocol. So the multi formats that the Filecoin team has already built, we are using it massively internally for our use case. So we are also building our node called Huddle nodes, since we would be deprecating our client server mechanism to node architecture, is the same way how Filecoin has upgraded the before client server architecture of S3 to node architecture, wherein like people can be nodes. So same we are doing, like we are replicating this client servers, upgrading this client server and making it to node architecture. So even Ethereum uses like P2P, libp2p out there, and we are also using libp2p, and they have solved a lot of other problems out there. So they have solved AutoNAT, they have solved like circuit relay, the DC UTR. So we are like very immensely helpful, like all of those things we are getting it out of the box, and in a way like how we can add value to them is like one of the way would be a technical contribution, and other way is like increasing the adoptability of these tools that is out there.
Cool, thanks so much. Yeah, I love to hear that. I love that, you know, Web3 allows you to kind of bring together all these different ecosystems. And you mentioned Ethereum and Polygon. I'm kind of curious, like maybe the flip side of that. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're experiencing as a Web3 founder in this space that maybe are different to Web2? I'm not sure if you've also founded a startup in the Web2 space, but I'd be curious to hear about a little bit, like, you know, after hearing some of the benefits of being in Web3, what are some of the biggest challenges maybe in Web3 or things that you faced? I saw HQ mentioned in the chat, you know, go-to-market might look different, and there's a lot of hustle here I saw with like Cal.com, and she mentions that too. But I'm curious, yeah, like what are some of the challenges that you've been facing building a Web3 startup?
Yep. So pretty much a lot of challenges. Like, so we have almost hit roadblock almost everywhere, but we have figured out some way out there. So first of all is like productization, right? So Web3 has a lot of research and a lot of tools available, but then their right productization was not available. For figuring those things out, but actually we had to do a lot of customer interviews. So we have this active dog fooding channel. So if something breaks, we just like very fast replicate it within 24 hours, right? So if something update that is required, we have a very fast development cycle out there. So we try to resolve things, and we put customer and users at a forefront, like what is that actually that they want. Second is that the challenge is the UX problem that is out there, right? So we are still solving the UX problem of the wallet out there. It's an unsolved problem. So like, okay, people come in with how do they token gate? Like intuitively they just token gate. Like a person does not know about anything about Web3. How could they like use these advanced features, token gating, how they can put this NFTs as an avatars out there. So that is also yet difficult out there, because like people, when they're integrating their wallet, they're basically suspicious, okay, whether this platform is secure enough to do on all of those things, but they would be very intuitively like give their email even at the cost of privacy out there. Third is like educating, like, so the general question that I get is like, okay, how you are better than Zoom, or how you are all of those things. So here is like educating people is like, so we are a VC platform, but then the primitives that are out there enables and whole different kind of behaviors. They're called emergent behaviors out there, and they both can coexist into the ecosystem, and they both have their own growth tangents out there. So I don't even see them as a collaboration or collaborative. So productization, UI UX was the problem, and the features like cal.com and Calendly. So we had difficulty integrating with Calendly.com, because like you have to do this whole business cycle Web2 to go and all of those things. So we are still in talk with them to integrate with Calendly, but cal.com is an open source. So what we done is that the next day we just sent PR to the cal.com repositories, and we were like, okay, integrated out there. So primary cal.com and Huddle is like a link sharing business. So when you share a link, You just click and the meeting pops up. It's so simple. So same happens with Calendly links. A person sends their Calendly link and they click and the event is scheduling. So if we dock these two link sharing, so it becomes much more valuable out there. So that is where like we prioritized on the scheduling infrastructure out there. So whatever scheduling infrastructure we have, open source and all of those things, Meet with Wallet, Calendly and SendTime, we have been integrated with those things, and we have also integrated with Google Calendar out there. So we just published our app on their marketplace.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, thank you for educating us today, and taking this time with us today. I think you got a lot of compliments there for a very slick UI and a beautiful interface. So like a job well done. And then I will say that it's like another, you're really kind of like yay for open source, right? You mentioned the cal.com, you can just file a GitHub PR and like boom, it goes live, versus kind of like a long and windy corporate business cycle with other potential partners. And that's awesome. I would love to, the dogfooding thing is super interesting. Maybe we end with that. Like, what are some of the things that you would like for this community to help you with developing your product beyond just starting to use it? I'm definitely looking into it, and I have used it, and it's awesome. But what are some things that we can do to help you guys develop an even better product and spread the word? And what are some things that the people on this call can do?
I think also, so one of is like the feedbacks. I think feedbacks are very valuable for us because we can reflect it very fast out there. Like, what do they think and what should we do out there? Meetings are like, sometimes it breaks on some platform like iPad, Safari. So if you see platform like Huddle is very complex because it is running on a browser, and that browser runs on devices, and that devices run on different OSs. So if you see a permutation, so you have like a whole different combination that you need to target. So sometimes you miss some directories out there. So that is one thing, like, okay, if you find some combination of browser, devices and the OS kernel version, so that would be very helpful to mitigate those problems out there. That is one thing. And the second is that we would be releasing our NFT AR features that Mizan has done. So maybe like if anyone holds NFT, they can just test those VR feature. And third help I think we would require is like having an active community calls out there, so that we just like robust test all the new features that we are building out there, and maybe like have just what do community think about those features out now. And the one more thing is like we are trying to solve is an active R&D, like how do the Huddle nodes would actually work in sync, the economics around this algorithm. So we are building this DRTC protocol, and on those protocol we are building this node. So this nodes has a media routing capacity out there. So on those media routing, what we need is like how do we effectively incentivize behaviors of media routing and making those algorithms provable in nature. So right now that's the challenge that we are solving. Like, how do we make our business logic provable in nature so that anyone in the world can verify the work that the Huddle media server is doing or Huddle node is doing out there. So that's an active challenge task. I think on the R&D part, that is something that we require. On the product side, I've just mentioned out there. So, and on the BD side, like if someone wants to partnership up and all of those things, so happy to do on those side also.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I think lots of opportunities for folks to contribute, both from this call as well as maybe people who are watching late. So like, we'll make sure to link a lot of the things that you mentioned in the description and send a lot of folks your way to test. Thanks so much for joining, Mizan, and thanks so much for joining Susmit. Also, congratulations on a recent, I think, successful fundraising round. That's awesome to hear. And we're excited to have you back and be a part of this ecosystem. Very much appreciate you coming on today and talking about Huddle 01. Back to Angie. Thanks so much.
Excited to be here. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Lucas, Mizan, and Susmit. If you want to learn more about Huddle 01, as Lucas said, please check out the links below. Okay, I'm thrilled to introduce a brand new segment for the roundup called FILMVP, when we take a moment to give a shout out to your favorite people, projects, and organizations in Web3. This month, we'd like to give a shout out to the Glyph team who launched the Infinity Staking Pool, to the team from Tsinghua University who won the FVM top prize at the ETH Global Tokyo Hackathon, the SFT protocol team for reaching 140,000 Filecoin staked, and to the Brave team for launching automatic NFT backups to the Brave wallet using Filecoin and IPFS. To nominate for next month's roundup, all you have to do is tweet the name of the project or person and the reason you're nominating them with the hashtag FILMVP, and we'll feature them in our June roundup. Our May roundup is almost complete, but there's lots of opportunities to get together virtually and in person in the coming month. You can find out more info on all of these events below in the description. Thanks so much for joining us today, and to our amazing community members for sharing their updates from across the ecosystem. The next roundup will take place on June 1st. If you'd like to share your wins and updates, then email events@protocol.ai. And for more information on everything featured in today's roundup, check out the links below. Thanks so much for joining us again, and happy building.